Welcome back, everybody, to Gentle Dorks, and continuing on from my superhero movies, are they really that bad? So, what am I going to do next? Well, the next movie I'm going to choose is a controversial choice. It got very, very negative reviews, and it has been panned since it came out. Like I said, there's very, very few positive reviews that haven't been paid for, and that movie is The Flash. Now, this was supposed to come out in 2019 and it didn't. It got pushed back to 2020. And we all know what happened in 2020, and so it was pushed back to 2021. And then more things happened. Ezra Miller had some problems, we'll say. I'm not going to get into anything that they've done or anything that they've supposedly done or any of the things that they have been convicted of. I'm going to stick to the movie and the production of the movie. So then it got pushed back again to 2023. And in that time, Warner Brothers, they decided to scrap Batgirl and the Wile E. Coyote movie, all for the sake of a tax write-off to pump money into this movie that was way over budget. The production had been going on since 2019. The script changes, the writers and producers not being able to write or produce anything because of COVID. Then when they could, there was a writer strike, and then there was the actor strike, and in that time they decided to rejig the script again and again and again. There have been between 4 and 8 different versions of the script for this movie. I've read 3 of the spec scripts. It took me a while to find them, they're very well hidden, but I found 3, and out of them, the one they picked was the best. Now, the story of this movie is based on the Flashpoint comic. That comic is fantastic. That entire run of Flashpoint was amazing. Great storytelling, great characters, most of which were canned for this movie. In the comic, Flash causes a flashpoint. He has changed the world significantly, and he needs to try and fix it because it's worse. So he needs to go back and fix what's happened. He needs to change back what he changed. In the universe that he ends up in, it is Thomas Wayne that is the Batman, and he has gone crazy because he watched his son get shot and killed in front of him. He became Batman with no morals. He kills all the bad guys. Martha Wayne became that universe's Joker, and that in itself should have been played out. But the way they done it, it didn't go that way. They got in Michael Keaton to play Bruce Wayne again and to play Batman again. And for that, I am eternally grateful because we got to see him as Batman again. We would have got to see him as Batman in Batgirl if they hadn't have canned that. We would have got to see Brendan Fraser as Firefly, but they canned that. Now, to the movie itself, so many inconsistencies, so many ups and downs, and far, far too much studio interference. This was at a time where nobody knew what was happening. The film was released after James Gunn and Peter Safran had been given the jobs, but they were given the blame for how bad this movie came across. The movie was edited. They were hired long after all the reshoots had been done, but they get the blame because they were in charge at the time of release. According to James Gunn, this movie reset everything, and the movies after The Flash, which were Aquaman 2, and Blue Beetle. They are not connected to anything that he's going to be doing in the future, but they're also not connected to the movies that preceded them. And in the end, it doesn't really matter because I can't find anything positive to say about this movie other than they had Michael Keaton back as Batman. The story itself just wasn't enjoyable. They tried to force too many things into the movie to try and make it work because they knew that was it. They knew James Gunn was going to come in and reset everything. He told them that that's what he was going to do. And these meetings were taking place while the movie was still being filmed. So the studio threw everything in that they could. They threw in things that the TV series had been doing. They threw in things that the comics had done. They tried to throw in things that the animated Justice League things had done before them. But there was no reason for doing these things. They'd done them to show off that they can do them. And it was not enjoyable. I've tried to go back and watch it and enjoy it, and I can't. I'm not going to tell you to not go and watch it. I'm going to tell you, watch it once, make your own decision. But as far as this series goes, this one really is as bad as you remember. Personally, I don't think I will watch it again. But never say never, as James Bond says. But personally, I do not think that I will go back in like 5-10 years and watch it and enjoy it. It's just not an enjoyable movie. The whole thing about Ezra Miller as well as the Flash, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Flash was an integral character. They helped save the universe from Darkseid. In the Flash movie, they weren't even the main character in their own movie. Now that just goes to show how much Warner Brothers was in disrepair at that point in time. They couldn't even make the Flash the main character in the Flash movie. They were a side character to themselves and to Batman and to Supergirl. So, on that note, before I go on any longer, I could talk at length about how much Warner Brothers destroyed this movie. One last thing before I go. Warner Brothers needs to release Batgirl, and they need to release Wile E. Coyote. On that note, I'll love yous and leave yous. See ya.